Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I was just explaining that, like, Tuesday is kind of my Monday. Now, granted, the workday starts for me on Monday just like everybody else, but I don't really get up for Mondays. But Tuesday, got a little bit more energy to me, a little chipper, a little better. Tuesdays work for me a little bit more than Mondays. So when I say Happy Tuesday, it's pretty legitimate. Happy Tuesday. Even if Tuesday doesn't go smoothly, like today, Happy Tuesday. What's up, Celine? What's good? So, again, I'm happy to say that I have Nicole. You guys remember her. Educator, entrepreneur, intelligent, lovely lady. And we have her again. And today, as promised, we're going to discuss some of the taboo issues. Sometimes there are issues that we don't discuss that we probably should discuss, but for whatever reason, we like to put it in the back burner. Reflect on ourselves in regards to relationships and so forth. So we're going to touch on some of those issues, and hopefully we will not offend anybody, because we really like you people. So we don't want to offend you. We just want to be realistic, and we want to be transparent in our discussions, and we want to be truthful. And that's one thing that we reach. We want to reach out and offer that, so to speak. Now, I got a little tongue-tied on that one, but it's the truth. We just want to try to be authentic. So if that means that we may have to criticize ourselves a bit, then so be it. And when I mean ourselves, I mean me included, Nicole, all of us. We all have these issues that we need to iron out. So we don't have any problem addressing them. So without further ado, need my ace boom coon, my people's on, so we can chat a little bit, fun stuff. What's up, miss?
Hey,
How you doing?
good. How are you?
Okay. Are you a Tuesday person too?
Any day I have to get up early is not my day, except for I'm a Friday person.
A Friday person?
Yeah,
You and 90% of the population.
Fridays make me, Fridays are good for me. I'm trying to fix my camera thing. All right, let's see. All right, there we go. Yeah,
So you're a
Fridays.
Friday
Yeah,
person?
I mean, like, who wants to get up early and go to work? Nobody.
No, they don't. They don't. But Fridays, I like Fridays. Fridays are cool. But then it reminds me of how fast these weekends go.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, Friday.
Yeah, the weekends go. Yeah, the weekends go kind. I, this weekend especially went super fast. I kind of felt like it was Sunday like that, and then I mean I had a long weekend, so I had a busy weekend, not a long weekend. So I guess maybe that's why it went so fast.
Yeah, but it was productive, right? Very productive. I mean, not,
Yeah, it was productive. It was fun. It was Friday and Saturday were fun. They were just busy. So, of course, Sunday I paid the price for being on my feet all day Friday and Saturday. So,
oh yeah. Hmm. See, that's my weekend. What did I do this weekend? Oh, I hung out with my crew.
you're correct.
You know, my posse,
You're posse.
my sisters.
Well, hey,
That's my crew.
that's
You
the
know what I mean?
crew.
That's my crew. That's my posse. And that's why I hang out with sometimes. I might probably see them later on today, maybe after the gym, and then chill with them. That's my crew.
Yeah,
And
I
my
mean, you gotta have a crew, you gotta have your peeps, you gotta have, all of that to hang out with. Yeah, I'm hanging out with myself today. How about that? Which is 100% fine. I'm good with that.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
I'm
I
good with
mean,
that.
if you're not good with it, who's gonna be good with it? I
Right,
mean, it is what it is.
exactly. We've had this
Facts. I mean,
conversation
that's I mean, we,
before. Yeah, you got to be good with you. Otherwise, if you can't
who's better
yourself,
than you?
right?
Who's better than you?
Nobody. Of course.
Listen. So, for everybody, welcome to Who Peed in the Dating Pool, the show where we ask questions that really nobody really wants to answer, nobody wants asked, but we want to find out what's up with this dating scene and why is it so difficult. We want to know why good people, really good people with good intentions can't find that perfect person for them. Why is that? What's the problem? What's the disconnect? So that's what people like Nicole and I here. We talk about these things and we bring other people on and we discuss these issues and like what can we do to iron out some of these issues. And a lot of times, which is today's show, we want to discuss things that aren't too commonly discussed because a lot of times we talk about the dating pool, and if you watch many of these shows, we talk about some of the experiences that we've had on dates or people have had on dates, and they talk about the negative, and they talk about this individual didn't do this, and this individual was rude, or this individual was cheap, and this individual was whatever. I mean, just run down the list. It was a ton of things that we discussed what was wrong with this particular individual. So today, we're going to discuss a little self-reflection because it's easy to blame the other person. But sometimes we gotta look in the mirror and like, what are we doing? Are we doing something? Is it possible that we're doing something that is prohibiting us from finding that person that's perfect for us? Are we doing? Is that person in our vicinity, but we won't allow them in because we got all types of barriers in place that won't allow that person to be there for us, and you're just unable to recognize that that person of your dreams, man or woman, whatever, trying to find out.
Mhm.
Now, what I find, Nicole, you tell me, there's a lot of people, men and women, that go on dates and they have a lot of issues from past relationships. I mean, a lot of it is just warranted. I mean, they have these trust issues, they have issues of abandonment, they have all types of issues that occur. So then they go into this dating scene, I guess with good intentions, I suppose. However, they're not willing to fully commit to the dating scene. So they go into scenes with individuals, but they're not able to fully engage with this individual. And when the date doesn't go as planned, or if they don't connect, quite often they find a way to blame the individual and find some fault in the individual without actually doing a little self-reflection and saying, am I really ready? Am I prepared for this dating scene? Am I willing to meet someone who will be good for me? But when you ask those questions, ruffle little feathers here and there. People don't want to look at themselves and think maybe I could be the problem. So what you think, Nicole?
I mean, I think that's true. When you're dating, you're gonna go on some great dates, and I through the years, I've had some really good dates that I ended up
Hmm.
not being in a relationship with that person, but like it was either just a really good date. We realized that we
Hmm.
had no connection that way, but at least we were friends. So it's been, that's been a plus. The negative on the other side of it is just you go on like a horrible date, and it's horrible for a variety of reasons. And so sometimes it's like I try to always go into everything with like a pretty positive outlook. Like, of course, you're
Hmm.
nervous. Of course, you have all of those feelings or whatever. But, you like to give people an opportunity to, because sometimes you start out talking to somebody on the phone, and when you meet in person, it's like crickets, like you have nothing to talk about,
Hmm.
or whatever you thought
And
might be
why
a
is that?
spark. I don't
Why
know.
do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like when you talk on the phone to somebody, they have so much to talk about. And then sometimes when you go out and you meet in person, um, I don't know if they're nervous. I don't know if they've talked about all they can talk about, and they don't really
Mm,
have anything else they don't really have anything to say, or maybe they're just not as interested as they thought they were. But you're not going to be rude and not make it through the date and be like, yeah, this is not working. Like, I've never done that.
I've seen people do it though,
I mean, I've seen people. I
firsthand,
mean, I've
front
heard
row.
stories of people like, yeah, I went to the bathroom and just like slipped
Mm,
out the side exit. I don't think. I mean, I think I can recall one date that I should have slipped out the side exit, but I did not. It was hilarious. I mean, like, I have some really good stories to tell
mm,
about dates over the years, but I don't know. I guess sometimes it's just not. I think a lot of times, especially now in the time of social media, um, people get really attached to like the physical. They're looking through
mhm,
your profile. People
mhm.
are always posting on social media the good stuff, putting their best foot forward, posting the best pictures, posting, where you're, looking your best or looking, pretty decent. Not nobody's posting a picture when they wake up in the morning and you look a little like,
Right.
disheveled or
Yeah.
whatever. So I
Right.
think
Right. Right.
sometimes people looking at people's pictures, and then you're talking to this person on the phone and you're making that connection, and then when you meet in person, I mean, that's happened to me before, where chatter 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 the whole time on the phone, saw the pictures on their social media or whatever, um, and kind of met in person, and I was like, it is the same person, but something's different. So, but still ended up having good conversations. Still ended up, not in a relationship, obviously, but still friends, and can chat and talk about, whatever. But I think sometimes
Right.
that's what happens. But then you have to like self-reflect and be like, not even like, am I ready to date, but like, am I really giving this person a chance? Because maybe it's not, that person is not your type, or there's
Right. Right.
maybe
Right.
one little thing. We have these checklists in our mind of what we want in a
Bad
mate,
checklist.
and
Mm, mhm.
sometimes
Mhm.
they don't meet one or two things on the checklist, and depending on the level of importance for you, you're ready to write that person off because they don't meet something on your checklist, when in actuality you might not be everything on their checklist, but at least they're like putting their, at least they're putting an effort, and they're taking the time to talk to you, and maybe possibly even go out again. Or if you become friends with that person, then maybe you would understand a little bit more of
Mm.
like
Can
those
that
checklist things.
can that checklist be the reason that's prohibiting you from being these people with these checklists, and that prohibits you from finding that person?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you look at some of these checklists are
Unrealistic.
tall. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
maybe not
like
even
the
over
tall,
11.
dark, and
I mean,
handsome. Like,
tall,
listen,
dark, handsome, or
listen, lady.
educated,
All
and
the
all of
tall,
these
dark, and
things.
handsomes are taken. Okay. Hey, I'm not saying date little shorty doo wop either. That's not what I'm saying. But this
Right, right.
notion of tall, dark, and handsome, you know, what that is for me may not be for the next person, but that whatever that notion of tall, dark, and handsome you have in your head, I think, as you said before, and we agree, like beauty fades. Not so much for me.
Absolutely.
Wait, not so much for
No, yeah,
me,
no, no,
but no, kidding.
no, no,
No,
no,
no, no, I'm
not at
kidding,
all.
kidding. Not so much for me, kidding. But you know, beauty fades, and at the end of the day, as we get older and we've gone through life experiences, it's really about that connection with that person and how that person makes you feel.
Yes.
Overall, just overall, or like, you know, it's not so much about the physical anymore, because I mean there has to be some attraction. And like I had talked to one of my girlfriends and uh she was like, yeah, so what are you talking about, like attraction? And I'm like, I'm not talking about like physical. So I had to like break it down to her. I was like, it
Hmm.
could be like their conversation, it could be something about them. Like 99% of people, men and women, agree, if there's no attraction, whatever that is for you, nothing's
Hmm.
happening. If you're not attracted to that
Right.
person, if there's not something that's drawing you to that person, you are
Hmm.
not going to be interested. I don't care if they had all the money in the world. I don't care if they were tall, dark, and handsome. I don't care if they were the nicest person. Like, being nice doesn't automatically give you a pass for me to like you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's just
Right. Right.
like,
Right.
there has to be some type of connection with that person
Hmm.
in order for you to decide that maybe a couple of those things on your checklist, you might be like, I'm not talking about red flags now. That's a whole different
Yeah. What?
ballgame.
Yeah. Well, red flag. Yeah, red flag. So
Now we're
yellow
not
flag.
talking red
Sometimes it's a
flags
yellow
here.
flag.
We're talking about
That's the
things,
caution flag.
right? We're talking about things on your checklist that are, I mean, how do they say it? Are nice to have, but
Hmm.
not necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That
like
it's
in a
like
house, like when you
it's.
buy a house, you know,
Hmm.
what is your, you know, your checklist are
The
nice to
must-haves.
haves, but not
Yeah, the
necessary.
must-haves.
Like you can still live in the
Absolutely, the
house
must-haves.
and function, you know, so you can
Hmm.
still be in a relationship with this person and be happy and do what you need to do. But you know, you want some of your wants and you want some of your nice to haves, you know, so you want like a
Right.
combination. For whatever is important to you, I think. So yeah, but it is a lot of, you know, you definitely have to self-reflect. I think as I've gotten older, that's something that I do a lot, because it's just like, mm, yeah, that ain't gonna work, or yeah, you know, that was not right. Or whatever the situation
Yeah.
is, like, is it
Right.
me,
Right.
like, is it me? And I, like, you know, I even ask my friends, like, is it me? Like, you can tell me, like, is it me, or was that like, yeah, not really working or whatever. So I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes, you know, if your girlfriends are your true girlfriends, like the girlfriends I have, they'll be like, nah, sis, it's you.
Yeah. Oh, it's all you, man.
It's you.
Damn.
It's you. So, you know it's you.
Mm.
Fix it or don't. But, you know, for the
Right.
next time, no. So, I mean, self-reflection is a big thing, but I think we also have to be at a certain level of like knowing yourself to self-reflect. Like
Hmm.
if you don't, like if you haven't taken the time to really know yourself and know who you are as a person, then you're not going to be able to self-reflect, because everything is always going to be somebody else's fault.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, like men, men have checklists off. So I hear. I don't know. I never really operated on a checklist, but I hear guys talk about certain things, the must-haves or what have you. But I think at this point in time, at our age, because I don't worry about I age in dog years. I don't know about you, so
I'm
I'm just
25.
saying.
What are you talking about?
Well, at this point, I'm like 138, so
Yeah,
don't
no.
worry about it.
Absolute. You know what? Absolutely not. I'm not claiming that.
dog, dog years, dog years. I'm telling you,
Yeah, no.
facts,
No.
facts,
No.
facts.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I'm
25
telling
in
you.
my mind. My body
Oh,
says otherwise, but I'm 25. You know, a very, very
yeah.
mature. I'm a 25-year
Uh,
old with about 23 years of life experience. So figure that out. Do the math.
There you go.
Back to school.
Yes.
Back to school, ladies and gents. Do the math.
Somebody's carrying the one right now.
Right, like,
They're
okay.
like, you get carried the one.
Yeah, figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you know what? Like the checklist, like I'm gonna tell you, let's be 100% transparent. As a younger person, your checklist changed because when you're young, nobody has anything. You're 18, 19 years old, your checklist, a lot of it is physical. A lot of it is physical, or are they fun? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have fun with this person because I like to go to parties. You like to go to parties. I like to watch football games. You like to watch football games. I like to smash. Do you like to smash? And that's basically
Top three.
I'm just saying, just keep it 100. So those are the things. But as you get older, you realize that loyalty and the honesty and the connection part, those are critical. And sometimes you have to be willing to be accepting, because if you find that person that's loyal, who's committed or whatever, and you're not mature enough to deal with that, you still, and this is when it's our fault, and that's when we become the pee in the pool, we like, oh, but she's not fun. You know what I mean? She's not fun. You're like, but you need somebody who's going to hold you down. You need somebody who's going to be committed. You need somebody who's going to be a good person for you. But as a male and that's not mature, you need all those things. But you wanted to be fun. You wanted to do this, and which is cool. I think you should want that on top of those things. The fun should not be prioritize the elements is like loyalty and commitment and those things that really matter.
Right,
And that's when you start, that emotional maturity starts to take place, when you start to elevate things to a higher level.
right.
And sometimes for us guys, it takes a minute, because
Minute?
guys,
Minute?
what,
No.
yo,
Minutes or years?
I said dog years. I'm just saying.
Dog years. Yes. Dog
dog,
years for that.
dog years. So I'm just saying. So it takes a while for us, and we they say that we mature. Not, I don't know if it's a maturity thing, but I do think that men are wired different than women, just naturally, biologically, and I don't think that's acknowledged enough, that we are wired differently. We think differently. We view things differently. Our emotional wiring is just completely different from women. And sometimes women don't understand how we are because they're not like that. And sometimes we as men don't understand how women are because they're not like we are. So I think we need to come to the understand that we're both different and what have you. And I think one of the things that women, someone will understand. I think at a point, all women understand. Men are so visual. They are just so visual. The men fall in love with the physical, and women fall in love with the emotional, and so forth. Not all. Some women fall in love with the physical. Still like, damn, he hot, whatever. I'm in love. But for the most part, men, women, they prioritize things differently, and men. Men like a nice physique, and they like certain attributes and so forth. And that's why you see all these women going to DR dying, because they know what men like. So they go over to DR. I'm just saying. Well, I'm going to give me some of those, and they come back with a combo package. And next thing you know, because they know that we are visual creatures. I think that we can be more than that, and I think we'd be probably better off, because everything that glistens ain't gold.
I mean,
It's a lot of it's a lot of gold plated stuff out there, and it's difficult for us. So at some part, we're to blame. Because if we're not finding what we're looking for, and we're saying that all these women are like gold diggers, so all these women out here, they thoughts and all that or whatever, all right, maybe. What are we attracted to? What gets us going? You know what I'm saying? Is it the chick that's running around with the booty shorts on, whatever? And, like, yeah, well, you shouldn't be surprised that she like attention. because that's what got your attention. So when she behaves in a certain manner, like thirsty and requests and just needs attention, if she behaves like that, this should be a surprise. So when she acts in a certain manner, this shouldn't be a surprise, because that's what drew you in to begin with. So I think, like, if we start just change the goalposts where our standards are and what we look for, I think it would make it easier for us. So in that regard, yes, we are to blame for some of the problems that we encounter in this dating pool.
I mean,
Unfortunate.
yes, I can agree with that. I think I don't know. I just think a lot of times there's unrealistic expectations, and like you said, men are visual, but what are you looking for? Like what part, where are you at in your life to are you looking for, even like in our age group? Like I still think that there's a nice portion of men that are still looking for that, big butt and a smile type of mentality, because now I guess you feel like you're getting older, so you think you can pull somebody who looks like that. Oh yeah, but at the end of the day, like, it's not about, like you said, it's not about the physical. It's about, can I have a conversation with this person? Can I talk to this person about anything? Are they supportive emotionally? Do they support my dreams, and as well as, the other way around? Or, are they just somebody who, like, everybody wants their person. Everybody wants to have their person. So whatever that means for you, I think
Right.
that that's what you should be looking for at this age. Somebody to, when I say settle down, I don't necessarily mean marriage, but somebody who you could be in a committed relationship with, that you enjoy each other's company, you enjoy being around each other. If there was nobody else to do anything with that you wanted to do, you would always pick that person, to do things with. But the self-reflection thing for a lot of people is hard, and a lot of times what people say they want, and when they actually get it, they don't know how to handle it. So you say you want
Absolutely.
this loyal, honest, and maybe that person is all of those things, but maybe you're saying that because of your past, where you didn't have loyalty, you didn't have honesty in the relationship, and so you find fault in the person who's giving you all those things that you kind of asked for doing what you asked for. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
because you don't know how to handle it. I mean,
or you don't believe it.
or you
They may
don't,
not
right,
believe it.
right, and you don't believe it
Like,
because in the
nah,
past,
nah.
yeah, because in the
Mm-hmm.
past you've been lied to, you've been whatever. So then when the person is actually being loyal, being honest, being loving, being affectionate, being emotionally supportive, you're like, yeah, something ain't right. And it's like,
Yeah, something ain't
no,
right.
you
Yeah.
asked for this, or that's how the person is, and so they don't know any other way. We have to also stop, like, dumping everybody in the same. Oh well, she's like all women, they're all the same. Well, no, we're not. Or all men are all the same. Well, no, they're not. And a lot of times too, if you're self-reflecting properly, people only do to you what you let them.
Mm.
And that's a hard. I think that's the
The hard pill to
hardest
swallow.
pill to swallow. Like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't excuse it, by no way excuses
The behavior of
what
the other
of the
person.
behavior of the other person. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to get to a point where you have to start to respect yourself enough to love yourself enough, and then to just maybe realize, like, yeah, this doesn't feel good. I don't feel good when I'm in with this person, or in this situation, or when they talk to me like this, or when I doing something you don't want to do, whatever it is, does not feel good. Like, you remember as a kid when your parents used to, like, make you, like, I hated taking out the garbage. I absolutely hated it. I hated washing dishes. I hated taking out the garbage. I hated doing all of those things. But as an only child, I didn't have you know, anybody else to do it. So, that was my chores. I hated doing that. But I
Mhm.
did it because my mother made me do it.
Because you had that big wooden spoon on the wall.
Well, whatever the case may be, yes. But so,
No,
everybody
just
everybody
say no
knows
to
what it feels
violence.
like to do something you don't want to do.
Yeah, right,
So then
right,
as,
right.
we get older and we're responsible for ourselves, like you don't like
Mm.
if you don't want to do something, don't. So if this relationship is physically draining you, mentally draining you, then like don't do it. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. It's hella hard to just walk away from something that you're so attached, invested in, but it gets better. Like sometimes you have to do it to see that you are strong and that you can do it. Just to realize like that wasn't normal at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, it goes back to being able to accept what's given to you in regard to things that you've asked for. And a reason why I say that is because, we all have our little setbacks and trauma and things that we deal with. And some people don't even feel that they can be loved, or love to them is verbal or physical abuse. That's what love is, because they grew up in a household with physical or verbal abuse. So if that's how mom treated dad or dad treated mom, and this is what they saw, then they associate that. Not everybody. Some people in it, they say, you know what, I see this, I don't want this for myself, and they avoid it like the plague. But not everybody. So the hard part is that person who's not able to detach themselves from their past. The hard part is showing them that there's something better.
Right.
And it's difficult for them to be in this dating pool because, you know, they see things, and even positive things, they see it as some type of fantasy. But that's not real. And then you hear certain people, they're like, that's not real, that can't work, like they can't really be that happy. But sure they can.
Mhm.
Well, no, they can't be. Like, yes, honestly, they can be that happy, they can be that committed to each other. So when you have those people, it's difficult, but it's not impossible to just reel them in. Like, listen, this is what you deserve if you're willing to accept it. And we always assume that that person who can't accept it is that person that's abused. Sometimes it's the most functional looking human being ever. It seemed like they got it together. It seemed like she has it together. She's educated, she has a great job, great car, house, whatever. She has it together. She can't be like that, sure, because we don't know what people's background,
Yeah,
what
because you
what what,
don't
what
know
led
what
to
the
that.
person, yeah, you don't like,
Yeah,
you're seeing, and then too,
a
like,
facade.
but also the other part of it is like, people, like I said before, people put their best foot forward, or people think like, oh, well, this is where she is now. Well, do you know what that person had to do to get there now? So don't like try to steal their shine because you're thinking like that these things can't happen or that this person can't possibly be happy. I mean, happiness comes from within also. Like if you're not happy with yourself, then you can't possibly think you can be happy with anybody else, or that anybody else could be just that happy. And happy
So,
looks
so
like
some of the
happy looks
happiest
different
people.
for everybody also. Like like,
Mhm.
oh, what brings you happiness and joy, maybe something completely different from what brings me. For some people, what makes them happy is traveling. For some people, what makes them happy is working and making a living for them to do something that they have a dream that they want to attain later in life. So it's like people, oh, you work a lot. Yeah, I'm working a lot, but my bank is fat and
Mhm.
wait and see, so happiness
All right.
is really like up to the each individual about what happiness is, but you really have to be like happy with yourself. And it's a work in progress. It is not like this constant, no one is in a constant state of happiness all day because
Impossible.
it's impossible. But when you look
Mhm.
overall at your life and how you feel, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm good. And you have the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows because life happens. But for, the most part, you can say, like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm blessed, however, highly blessed and highly favored, whatever,
Yeah, I know, right?
however you say it, whatever,
Yeah, but
whatever way you want to say it. But,
like, okay, right,
overall, I'm good. Like, yeah, life,
some of the happiest people are the people who've been through things and overcome them.
right. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
because there's an appreciation.
right.
There's an appreciation for what you've overcome and where you could have been. And I think from what I've seen, those are some of the happiest people that I've seen, and the people that really have overcome and come through gone through some things and came out on the other end. Or in the process of going through something, that process is, difficult, and, like, I'm working my way through it, whether it's a heartache or disease or a trauma or death or whatever you've gone through, or not even to that extreme, maybe just school, you never thought that you would be one who would get through college and whatever, and that was a struggle for you, and you've gotten through that struggle, and sometimes that's the biggest hurdle, and that brings you joy. But I think that there are people who don't like to see joy in other people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's not permanent. I don't believe that those people are lost cause. I honestly don't. I think that while they're like that, they're problematic, because they're going to try to bring everyone down. But I don't think those people should be totally just thrown out with the bathwater. I just think that those are people that you understand there's a reason why they're that way, and try to work with them, to try to show them. Be kind. When those people are jerks, sometimes you be kind. Or, sometimes you can be sarcastic in a nice way. So I do that. That's how you do at work. you, got, that's it. You learn those skills that
Yeah, you do. Working with people,
yeah,
you're in a field where you are constantly working with people day in and day out,
absolutely, absolutely,
the public, or
absolutely.
whatever. Yeah, you
Yeah.
learn that, to be nice, nasty, I guess you can call it.
You do what you got to do. Shout out to everybody, to people that checked in. I don't
Yeah.
even know if you got any questions. You got any questions? Just send them in. I'm looking. I want to interact with people. Because I'm sure if you have a view or you want to chime in on something, let me know. Because I'm curious to hear what other people think about some of these issues that go on. I look at this. I talk to so many people, and they usually say the same thing. I always say, "What's the obstacles in relationship? Why are you in this pool that has pee in it, or what have you? What's the problems?" And they say this all the time, the same thing. I mean, you go through my lives, you go through my videos, a lot of times they say the same thing: and communication, the trust, and issue, and blah blah. The same things, and they're all legitimate things. However, it's like, all right, communication. They don't communicate. Do you communicate? And that's the thing. Because, or how receptive are you to communication?
Yeah.
I mean, because you are, when you listening, again, we talk about listening to respond as opposed to listening to understand. Do you listen to understand? Or do you looking for that quick statement or that zinger or whatever? Listening, especially somebody you're interested in. If you want to see if you're interested in, you want to know as much about them as possible. And a lot of times we get on these, especially these first meetings, and we get start talking about ourselves. And I think that we should spend more energy just finding out more about the other person, because you already know about you. You know what you've done. You know what you've accomplished. Now, she asked or he asked or whatever, then sure. But ask about that person, because if you're really legitimately interested in that person, the only way you're going to find out information is if you ask. And they may not answer every question. And don't take it personal when they don't answer every question, because you don't know. They may not trust you to that point. Not even trust, but they may not have that comfort with you. And if they don't have that comfort, understand, because there are things that with them you don't have that comfort with them as well. So when a person don't answer every question, it's okay, because you always have a second date. or a third date
You hope.
or a fourth date.
You hope.
Well, that's what the plan is. The plan is to get to a second date,
Yeah.
and if you don't get to the second date, you're like, damn, strike one, and then you go,
Yeah.
and then you go on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? But you hope. Let me rephrase that. You hope to get to the second, and if you do get to that second date, then maybe some of those questions will get answered. Those things that you were curious about. And then she may tell you about her past. Maybe she may not want to tell you about her childhood at first on the first date. Maybe the things about her childhood she doesn't want to answer. Maybe he doesn't want to tell you about his parents because maybe there are things that he doesn't want to answer. So wait until that second date and don't take it so personal that, oh, they're not sharing everything. Like, they don't know you.
Right.
You're a stranger.
Right.
You're a stranger. Let's keep it real. You're a stranger, and they're a stranger, and you're two strangers that may have a common interest, and that may be each other. But that's may have a common interest. That's not guaranteed.
Right.
So if you don't know that you have a common interest, you're running out. And I think that's the part that I think everybody wants to rush.
Yeah.
You know, it,
That's how, I mean, I think that's true. I think a lot of times, like when you are, you're in the dating pool, I can speak for women because I feel like this is something that as women, I've had discussions. Sometimes what happens is you meet a guy,
mhm,
you talk on the phone for whatever the length of time that you do, and then you actually decide to meet in person. And then say the date goes well. And so
mhm,
sometimes some women, they are like in the express lane. They are already setting up a vacation,
the first child
meeting the
names.
friends, meeting the family, because yes, you're excited. You definitely feel like there's a connection there, but you're fast forwarding past the initial stage of just really getting to know somebody, because as we said before, everybody puts their best foot forward. Typically, that of course you want to make a first impression. You want to, you know, put your best self out there. But
Mhm.
sometimes we were saying, like, women, you're already at the altar, like you picking out wedding dresses and bridesmaids dresses, and it's just the second date, and it's like, slow
Mhm.
down, like, go through the process of getting to know that person, spending a little bit more time in the friendship phase than, like, ready to get to the altar, because you may find that, like, I feel like if we did that, and especially at like our age, I feel like if you just slow it down a little bit and you go through that friend stage a little bit longer, if you
I
don't end
agree.
up in a relationship, hopefully it's not something dramatic, because who wants to be bothered with drama? You at least still have
Mm,
a friend, or someone that
absolutely.
you said, you know what, we tried to date, this is not really working out like that, we just are going in
Mhm.
different directions, or whatever the reason is, but like, you like to do XYZ. So I know when I want to go do this, you're my person to do whatever with. Or, you know what, we're still friends. We can still talk on the phone and laugh and, even hang out. But, this is not going to go any further than that. But sometimes I think as women, we are already at the altar, saying I do. And you ain't even been in his house yet.
You're right.
Like, he said he live alone, but do he?
Mhm. And
Like, you don't know, you just don't know enough. So, that's like not all women, but I'm just saying that's conversations that I've had with like friends and stuff like that.
mhm.
And it's like, yeah, it is exciting when you do meet somebody and it's going well. But I think it's in both people's best interest to like slow it down a little bit, like just a little bit, just slow down, and not saying that the interest is not there and that you don't like this person, and that who knows, it may end up going long term, but at least if it does, and you've taken that time to get to know the person, if it leads to the altar, you can really say, like, you hear like people when they get married, they say like, "You're my best friend." You know, this person is my
Right.
best friend. So that kind of would
Right.
indicate to me that they've taken time to get to know each other and developed a bond outside of being in like a romantic relationship. And I think that's cool, actually. You know?
It's and you know what? It's a marathon. And unless if it's done right, it's always a marathon. You know, you hear these relationships that last a long time, especially loving relationships where they've been in a relationship for 50 years. Trust me, they had all types of issues and whatever throughout those 50 years, but they recognize that, you know what, we're in it for the long haul. And, you know, they're willing to make that commitment for the long haul, to death do them part. And that's what we're talking about. You know, those people, more props to them. Shout out to all of those folks. You know, I think another thing that a problem is, and I hate to say it, but people have sex way too quick. You know, if you're really trying to like be in a serious relationship and you out there, you have, because sometimes that people confuse great sex with love. You know what I'm saying? That's not love. That's something. It start with an L, but it ain't love. It's four
Right.
letters. It ain't love, you know. But I think a lot of times, you know, people know each other for 3 days, had sex first day, and during that sex, they thought, "Well, I love you." And no, you don't love them. You love something. You don't love.
Yeah, that,
You don't love them. It is funny because I think that is part of the P2. You gotta slow down,
yeah.
ease up, you know what I mean? Especially at a certain age. Maybe if you're young and you just carefree and, you know, it's this whole, we all talk about the poly thing and all these other things that these other type of relationships they have out there, and you live that carefree life and that's what you accept, and fine. But if you're really looking for something like real, as much as you may want, because trust me, I'm sure, like you see somebody like you want to, yeah, you like, yeah, you know, but if you really want to have something, it's no rush. I mean, because if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I mean, eventually it's going to happen. I just don't think that, especially at a certain age and in our age, especially, you know, there's no need to rush because, you know, and then when you, as a guy, I say this, and a lot of people, I don't know if they agree with me or think whatever, but I know women say this, but the same thing applies for men. So when you out there, right, and you laying down, every time you lay down with somebody, it's a certain part of you that you giving away. You know what I mean? It's something that you giving. It's something a part of your spirit that you, not even necessarily your literal spirit, but it's part of you that you're giving away. And then when you move on and you next, that's a piece of you right there that you gave. It's part of your energy that you're giving to these people. And then you want to give your energy to everybody. You know what I'm saying? At a certain age, you get older, you ain't got that much energy left in you. Can't be, yeah. Um, you just can't
Like,
be just
I'm
giving.
gonna get out of that. I'm
You
fresh out.
know,
I mean,
so,
I
like
agree.
my container empty, man. You know, so you just,
Yeah, I mean,
that's how I feel. Men and women.
I agree with you with that. I also think that if sex is important to you,
Hmm.
I'm not saying on the first date, but you also don't want to establish this connection with somebody or this bond with somebody, and then you actually, decide to be intimate with that person, and it's horrible. If that's important to you, some people, because then what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that could change the whole situation.
And you
If
know,
that's
we're
important to
gonna have
you.
a conversation. Yo, the next time we're gonna have a conversation about that whole thing. Like, what is horrible? I mean, what is horrible? I know what horrible is. I think I know what you guys say is horrible, but I don't. What's horrible? I mean, explain that to
I
me.
mean, like, it's a
That can't be, especially if you like that
if
person.
you really
Especially if you
like
like
that
that
person,
person.
you probably have, if you really like that person, you spent time with that person, you have a certain, I guess, expectation, or you have a certain thought in your mind, probably how the first time would be when you're intimate with that person. And so
Which is not good.
it's not
Let
good,
it
but
flow.
it's real.
Let,
Like,
let,
come
let
on.
yeah,
Oh,
but
stop
you
it.
gotta let that happen. You gotta let it happen because you don't know what it is. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
but
It's
what
like a
I'm saying is if you like a person and you've spent time with the
mm-hmm.
person, just like with anything, you're going to think, whenever it does happen, not planning it, but whenever it does happen, you want it to be a certain way, like if you're based on what the connection that you have, or based on also too what you like, okay, so horrible for some people might be, okay, one, we all know the first part, let's just clear that out, that it doesn't work. Okay, that's the first thing. It just doesn't work. So, okay, then there's that. Okay, so then
But
after
then
that,
but hold on 1 second. Just hold that thought. But for 1 second, that's also a communication issue. That's a communication issue because if you like this person and you like them and you talk and you communicate it, I think at some point in time that is probably something that he should communicate to you that this is an issue because if you like it, you're gonna find out. It's not like you're not gonna know. It's going to be, and they got all these Viagra's and Cialis, whatever thing out there. Go to the gym, get your blood flowing or
yeah,
whatever.
but
Do what you need to do.
oh,
But I'm
Enrique.
just saying that's a communication issue too, because then you're not gonna be disappointed because you know already.
Okay, but how many? Okay, so out of your group of friends, just
Hmm.
hypothetically speaking, out of your group of friends, or if it's a conversation you had, you don't have to name names.
Hmm.
How many men are going to, like, after you've been talking to somebody a while and you're interested or whatever, how many men are actually going to be like, well, I have a little bit of, like, issue in the bedroom, like,
Well, for right now, there's no excuse. Right now, they got too many drugs out there. They got all these drugs. I had this old man telling me how he was smashing this other old lady because he took his blue pill. I was like, oh,
but sometimes but
but
sometimes it's
but
not
it
like,
worked, right? Don't
sometimes
it? I
it
don't know.
could be it could be other things. Like, I'm not saying necessarily like a health issue always. Sometimes,
Mm.
like, it could be the excitement of everything. And
I just think that's type of stuff. If you like the person, that you need to be upfront with them and talk to them because now they're gonna be disappointed. And now if you tell them, then there's no disappointment. You can be like, listen, this is the issue that I got. I'm working on it. I've been talking. I've been going to the gym. I've been doing whatever I need to do. Do whatever. I've been sparring. Do whatever. Do what you gotta do. I'm just saying, because if you be honest, and you can be like, listen, and then she be like, okay, is she gonna be too? Yeah, she might just be disappointed when she hears the story, but she be like, okay, all right, I like him. Like, let's see what we can do, and just try to figure this out. But if you go in there knowing that you got an issue and you're not being fully transparent, and then when you go there and then you created a whole awkwardness that did not
right.
have to exist if you were just being honest. So to me, that's not even a horrible thing. That's a lack of communication thing because because now you got to deal with that embarrassment. What's more embarrassing? Having a conversation beforehand saying, listen, I got this little issue that I'm working on. I can't, the blood ain't flowing right, or just getting there and now you on the stage, just like getting on the mic. Remember 8 Mile? Remember 8 Mile when what's his name? Rabbit, whatever his name was, the guy on the stage and he froze. And everybody looking at her like, damn. Now you want her looking at you like, damn.
But that's the
Like,
that I
but
swear, if we surveyed women and asked, in the event you've had a bad situation where whatever, if they knew about it, like you said, then it's something like, okay, well, what are you doing about it? Or is it because you're taking this medication or that? Then it becomes a mature conversation. But
and
I'm
trying to
going to
solve the
safely
problem
say,
together.
I'm going to safely say 90% of the time, you have no idea until the day of, like, until it happens. And you're like, oh. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, okay, like next, like, and horrible could mean a lot of things. Horrible could mean like they have like no skill. Horrible could mean like everything's
Yes, you could teach
fast.
skill.
Horrible
You
could
could teach
mean
skill.
horrible could
You could.
mean like they don't know how to like caress and be gentle with a woman. It's a lot of things
But
were horrible.
those are the things to me. Those are things that can be discussed, and maybe even the word. I don't want to use the word taught because no women don't want to teach nobody. So we can talk about discussed and worked on. But if you really like it, I'm not talking about some random.
No,
I'm
I'm
talking
saying
about somebody
like
that
the
you
person.
actually like. Yeah. So
Yes.
those things that you like, hey, he going too fast. Slow it down.
Well,
His hands
yes.
too rough. Here's some palm olive. Do whatever you need to do to get. I'm just saying, do what you need to do to get right, and you have these conversations. That's it. That's what all I'm saying is because if you like the person, you got to snatch him up. Now, if he has a micro thing, then I don't know what you can do about that. I don't know.
I mean,
Well, you know what? You know what?
you look, they got to be good at
Yeah,
something
listen.
else. Look, if you
No.
already know that that is your issue, you better have some other kind of skill set that is like making up for that with anything, but you better have some other kind of skill set because, I don't know too many women that are like, yay, micro penis. No, you like, you gotta have some other skill. I promise you, you need to have some other skill. I'm just saying. Um,
Get yourself a strap on or something like lesbians do. I don't know. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Desperate times call for desperate measures. If you gotta do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do.
no,
Whatever.
just not
You
with
know?
me. Not with me. Thanks. It's nice knowing you. Have a nice. We're friends. Call me when you want to go out to eat, but other than that, I'm good. That's true. That's being honest. I mean,
You know what I'm gonna tell you? Let me tell you, man. We work with what we call whack stuff all the time. Men do that all the time. I mean, they were like, but again, like men, well, are with sex, like even a lot of men, like even when it's bad, it's good. It's like cold pizza. Even when it's bad, it's not bad. It's pizza, whatever. It's
I
cold, but
like
whatever.
cold pizza.
That's
I
how.
don't like
Yeah,
baguettes. I can tell you that
yeah.
much.
I'm just saying that's how guys, a lot of guys view sex to begin with. So even if the sex isn't great, a lot of guys will work around it because if the sex isn't great, because he's like, this kind of sucks, but he's physically attracted to her, then it'll kind of average out with a lot of guys. Like, yeah, she sucks in this department, but I like looking at her while she sucks in this department. And it gets them through. Again, men are visual creatures. They are visual creatures, and that type of thing can get them over the hump because they're visual. So even if they don't really care for her skills so much, but if she's physically appealing, then he can. A lot of men can look over a lot of things. But again, we had a lot of stuff. We're gonna touch on this again because we got like a minute left or whatever. But we're gonna touch on this again because I think who's that, Amanda? What's up, Amanda? Peace out. What's going on? So I think that again, if you like a person, you really truly like a person, and if you think that sex is not so great, but if you like them, that's just one criteria, and it's worth, I think. I know women may not think so, but it's worth trying to figure out. Maybe you can make it work. Some of those things are correctable, possibly, and then maybe with everything else being in place and everything else aligns and so forth, and it's just this one area, I think it's worth it to find that true person, especially if you've been struggling for a long time, men and women. If you've been struggling for a long time, it may be worth trying to do that. But anyway, so check out Nicole. Follow her Instagram. You'll see her again. That's my people. She's super smart, intelligent, lovely lady, and she's funny, cool people. And I love having her on the show. Check out Who Peed in the Dating Pool. Follow and tell other people to follow too. For real.
Yep.
Yeah, yup.
Yeah, that's all I get. I'm like, because I'm still cracking up from the conversation. So, yep, follow me, Empress Asada, on Instagram, and I'm Nicole Asada on Facebook. And yes, you'll probably
Oh,
see me again on here because we're not done. We have more topics to talk about.
and you know what? For whatever reason, I got extended past my little minute because I am at a minute and 22 seconds.
Oh,
Go figure. Oh, that's what I said.
thank
Well,
you.
I must. I don't know. I'm moving up in the world, but
Maybe so.
they used to Hassan chop me after a minute. They was like, "Listen, bro."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "But I was
Yeah.
chop." But anyway, yeah, Nicole, again, it's a pleasure having you on. I mean,
Always.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and again, we're gonna talk about that because, dudes, fellas, gentlemen, I got your back. I
Ladies,
got your back.
ladies, you already know. Like, this is how,
No, no, nah.
this is
I
how
got your
it goes.
back, fellas.
Whatever.
Nah, fellas. I got your back.
Come on, ladies.
we,
We're
we
gonna
not.
we're gonna get more ladies and more gents on the next live, and we're gonna have some
Oh yeah,
real
no
live chat.
question. We're gonna have a round table because
Yeah,
somebody got to defend.
yeah,
We got to defend
yeah.
these
We need
fellas
a
out
round
here,
table.
man.
Yes, and yes, that should be the new.
Nope, nobody. Nobody's showing the men no love. They said the only people that gets unconditional. What Chris Rock say? Only people that get unconditional love is women and dogs and children. Men, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Whatever.
whatever.
I don't know. I'm
Wah,
disappointed.
wah.
So yeah, I know. See, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? You know, but that's okay. I'm going to go. I'm gonna go with my crew. I'm gonna see my crew later.
Talk to
Meaning my
them.
sisters.
Chat with them about
I
this and see what they think, and let me know.
I know what one of my sisters think.
Okay, so then we're gonna have her. She's gonna have to come on the show.
I told her I'm gonna get on the show one day. She was like, "Yeah, we'll see. We'll get her
Yeah,
on."
we'll get her.
I don't know. She said we'll see. My other sister, she ain't going.
Yeah.
My big sis, she ain't. She
We'll
ain't.
work on
She,
the one that we can probably get on and let her
that's right.
join the round.
Baby steps.
Yes.
Baby steps.
Right.
All
All
right.
right.
Nicole,
All right,
like
later.
always.
All right. Talk to you later.
Salute.
Bye.
Bye.